Alright. I've gone, fixed some things, tweaked some things, fixed the bugs. The way I dealt with the whole conflict between the crystal and the stone is that I added a catalyst for the alchemical crystal. It's just tin. Just to have a little bit of tin in there. Just a little tin. It's not going to use it up. It's just has to be there. It's a pretty easy solution, really. And that just means, right-click the bottle you're doing the reaction with the tin nugget to put the nugget in, and you can take the nugget out afterwards if you want. Just have some tin. Don't really have a lore reason, more a prevent conflicts reason. Oh, I nerfed this thing. Instead of doing 15, it's 5 degrees C per tick top and bottom, so that's a nerf. Okay. Sorry. Alright. Oh, by the way, I want to mention this thing. The way I've done this here is not really the right way to do it for controlling the heat, because what's currently happening is it's moving heat from here to there, but it's doing the condition based on the amount of heat over here. So what you should really do, if you really have a very narrow range, is you'd have 2 heat limiters when you're trying to keep something cold. One putting in heat, and one taking that heat when this is above a certain temperature, and one taking out heat when this gets above that another temperature. So you'd sort of clamp it at upper and lower bounds. But this is just a quick and dirty, just to test it, really, thing. All right, so I've got all the ingredients in. I've got the temperature rig. Yeah, I'm gonna need to actually do that. All right, so let me do that. All right, I've redone this. There we go. This should just be kept below around negative 73 degrees. All right, so now I just have to add the last ingredient, which was so unfortunately turned into crystal. A little pinch, just a little pinch of alchemical salt, and we should see the magic happen. It's not actually that exciting. There we go. It's happened. We've got 40 Philosopher's Stone. It's so cold in there, it's frozen the Quicksilver. That has to get very cold to happen. Why have I got 7 out of 40? What? First of all, I was expecting it to produce... Yeah, I was expecting it to produce 40, but... Oh, you know what it is? Here's what's happened. Okay. See, it's so far alchemy's pretty unintuitive, though not as complicated as it seems. It's pretty unintuitive, and I'm trying as I'm working through it to try and change things so it's a bit more intuitive. Make it so there's less oddities like what I've just encountered. What I've just encountered is the fact that it's not actually 10 units to a stone. It's 5. I thought it was 10. It's 5. That's fine. Sure, it's 5. But it looks like there's 5 in there. But there's not. There's very, very slightly less than 5. It's being rounded up. But I still can't pull it out. So I think I should come up with some way of getting around that. Well, you have 0.001 less than 5, but you need 5, and that's just annoying, right? There should be some way around that. I'll just have to think about what the best course to take is, because of course I have to avoid dupe glitches. But sure, 7 stones. I was only trying to produce 4, but I'm disappointed I didn't get 8. I've got 7 of these things. Now, I've got 7, so I've got some spares. You might be thinking, wait, he went on and on about how you can't hold it in normal glassware. Now he's holding it in his hand. Yep, you can't put it in normal glassware, but you can hold them. However, if you just drop one, it won't end well. I'm going to spawn in a spare stone, because I don't want to waste one on this little demonstration after all that effort to produce them. But sure, let me just demonstrate. If I just toss one, maybe outside this very, very clean terraformed area, it's not so destructive, but it is fairly melt through the world-y. Yeah, that's just going to happen. And it's going to melt through the bedrock, too. Goodbye. We're not getting that back. And even if we were, I spawned that one in for the demonstration, so I'd have to delete it anyway. Just eating through. Presently, it should reach bedrock, and then it'll melt through the bedrock. Oh, there it goes. Goodbye! So now we have an eternity pit here. Yeah, that's not going to fill. I mean, we could fill the pit, right? We can craft bedrock, or rather, we can dig up bedrock with the aqua regios I demonstrated. But I can't be bothered. Just leave that hole there. I won't tell Bobo or Denny either. I'll just hope one day one of them will fall in it and be very confused. Probably unhappy when they lose all their stuff, but it'll be funny until they start shouting. Alright, we've got the Philosopher's Stones, and if I were to put one of these in normal glassware, it would not go well. What would happen would be what happened over there. So we've got the Philosopher's Stone. What can we do with it? Well, that's for the next episode, but let me just give a little, just show some of the recipes. You see, I keep coming back to those three main materials for alchemy, right? You can't press U to see what it's a catalyst for. It's not consumed for anything, it's always a catalyst, the Philosopher's Stone. Well, I keep coming back to those three materials. Sulfur, alchemical salt, quicksilver. Those are the three main tier 1 materials. And then I suppose you could say the tier 1 container is glass. And then there's the tier 2 materials, where the tier 2 container is alchemical crystal, which I've got tons of now. But what's the tier 2 materials? Well, that's where it gets pretty fun. That's where all the fun stuff happens. I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff you can do with alchemy in just tier 1 that I've not really shown. Like the whole chemical weapons thing. It's perfectly legal. Don't worry about it. The whole Tesla coils can be used to kill things thing, which I've not really demonstrated, but you can use them as weapons and like kill stuff with it. There's this thing, which we'll get to eventually, don't worry. There's the melting bedrock, there's the Maxwell's demon. But honestly, all the really cool stuff is once we get to these tier 2 stuff. And the tier 2 stuff, at tier 2, the chemicals themselves become very interesting. Like tier 1, oh, I made some quicksilver. Well, what's it do? Well, it's an ingredient. Well, that's pretty boring. Well, tier 2. The tier 2 materials, the main tier 2 materials are philosophic. They're somewhere in this list. Right at the start. Oh yeah. Philosophigen, aether, and adamant. Philosophigen alone is freaking awesome. I mean, it's and I do not use that word lightly, awesome. It's amazingly fun to play with. It's elemental fire that burns anything. And it's very, the effect is dramatic, shall we say. And mixed with a few other choice chemicals available at tier 2, like Eldrine, Lumens, Fusus, Voltus, whatever else. You can change mountains into craters. You can turn the nether into an ocean. You can turn deserts into jungles. Well, not jungles. You can turn them into forests, or forests into deserts. It's sort of like a mass terraformer in a bottle. It's great. And then, right? And don't worry, it's not like elemental fire from Thaumic Tinkerer that corrupts your worlds. It's not. It's got a finite radius. Don't worry. There's all sorts of stuff at tier 2. There's Voltus, which is like lightning in a bottle and kills stuff with lightning bolts. There's wireless energy transportation, or wireless FE transportation, and that gets really hectic because if you can charge up the upper atmosphere in a way that's completely inspired by Nikola Tesla's ideas. He had this, we'll get into more depth when we come to that, but if you overcharge the atmosphere, there's all sorts of negative effects on a world scale, and they're very interesting, shall we say? Certainly destructive, but not, well, you'll see. You'll see. Oh, densus and anti-densus. Those are some of my favorite things in alchemy. They're incredibly fun. You can make gravity and anti-gravity plates out of densus and anti-densus, right? These are the chunks. You can make them to density and anti-density plates, which, oh boy, they are fun. They are fun having gravity and anti-gravity plates. Trust me on this. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in alchemy, and it just all the really cool stuff starts at tier 2, which we're just now starting to look into by getting the Philosopher's Stone. Although, to be totally honest, there's really 3 tiers, right? We're in tier 1. We're just starting to look into tier 2. Tier 2, Philosopher's Stone. Tier 3, I mean, I've not, like, anywhere in the code said this is tier 1, this is tier 2. But in effect, tier 3 is the Practitioner's Stone, which is the sort of like the opposite of the Philosopher's Stone, which instead of breaking things down into components like Philostogen, combine the elements into new elemental stuff. So Eldrine, you need the Practitioner's Stone to make. Lumen, you need it to make. Stasis, all you need to make. Fusus, Voltus, Ignis Infernum, those you need the Practitioners to make. You don't need Practitioners to make the gravity plates, though. Oh, and you can start making materials like rubies, but those take Practitioners. But yeah, really the fun stuff starts in tier 2 and 3, and we're just starting to get there. All right, this video's pretty long, but I'm just going to end it now. Goodbye.